There is a moment that happens in suburban yards across North America every single day. A person steps outside. A coyote is already there. Their eyes meet across 30 feet of grass. The coyote holds that contact for 3, 4, 5 seconds, and then it moves. And the person walks back inside carrying an assumption so automatic they do not even notice they made it. It didn't recognize me. It just saw a human and left. That assumption is wrong. And the specific way it is wrong changes the meaning of every encounter you have ever had with one of these animals. What actually happened in that moment of eye contact is something researchers spent years documenting before they fully understood it. Stay until the last section, because what we cover there is the finding that tends to stop people completely, and once you understand it, you will not be able to look at a coyote encounter the same way again. Number 1, the face it already has on file, and how long ago it was added. The foundational research on individual human recognition in wild animals did not come from coyotes. It came from crows. A research team at the University of Washington conducted a now landmark series of experiments in which they found that American crows could recognize specific human faces, hold that recognition for years, pass the information to other crows, and respond differently to a known threatening face than to a neutral one, even when the person was wearing different clothes, walking differently, or accompanied by different people. The face was the identifier. The response was individual, specific, and durable. Coyotes do not have the same visual acuity as corvids, but they have something crows do not have at the same level: an olfactory system so precise it can detect individual scent compounds at concentrations of parts per trillion. A coyote can distinguish between the scent of 2 different humans with the same reliability that you can distinguish between 2 different faces. What this means is that the coyote in your yard has built its recognition file on you through multiple sensory channels simultaneously. It does not need to see your face clearly to know who you are. It knows your scent. It knows your behavioral pattern. It knows your timing. And it has known these things, in all likelihood, for longer than the first time you noticed it. The file was opened before you knew a file existed. Number 2, what a coyote actually records when it looks at you, and the 3-layer profile most people never think about. When a coyote observes a specific human over time, behavioral researchers describe the accumulated information as a multimodal profile. Not a single data point, but 3 distinct layers of information that build simultaneously. The first layer is visual. Body size, movement speed, gait pattern, whether you tend to move directly or wander, whether your posture is confident or hesitant, whether you reach toward things or keep your hands at your sides. The second layer is olfactory. Your individual scent signature, which is as unique to you as your fingerprint, the presence or absence of a dog, what you have recently been near, stress hormones that alter your scent in ways a coyote can detect and that you cannot suppress or fake. The third layer is behavioral. What you do when you see it. Do you stop or keep moving? Do you make eye contact or look away? Do you advance or retreat? Do you make noise or go quiet? This third layer is the one that determines your threat classification, and it is updated every single time the 2 of you share space. Here is the detail worth holding. A coyote's nose contains approximately 300 million olfactory receptors. A human's nose contains about 6 million. The world the coyote is reading when it looks at you is not the same world you are standing in. It is reading a version of you that is several layers deeper than anything you can perceive about yourself from the outside. Number 3, what changes your classification, and the reclassification most people never trigger. The profile a coyote builds on a specific human does not stay fixed. It updates. And the single most important update that most suburban residents never trigger is the one that moves them from low consequence to high consequence. Research on coyote responses to human behavior, particularly studies tracking response distances over repeated encounters, shows that individual animals maintain different response distances to different humans based on accumulated behavioral history. A human who has consistently done nothing in previous encounters, who has retreated, looked away, gone back inside, is classified at a lower response distance than a human who has consistently hazed. Not because the hazing human is more dangerous. Because the coyote's behavioral model predicts with high confidence that the hazing human will do the same thing again. Predictability in the direction of assertiveness is what the Coyotes' classification system responds to. And here is what makes this difficult. The person who has had 10 passive encounters has already contributed 10 data points to their own low-consequence classification. Undoing that classification does not happen in one encounter. It happens in a series of consistent encounters that override the existing model. The researchers who documented this at Colorado State found that it took an average of 3 to 5 consistent hazing interactions before a previously passive classified human produced a measurable increase in coyote response distance. 3 to 5 is not a long time, but it requires knowing that the classification exists, and most people never know. Number 4, the file includes everyone in your house, and the coyote already knows who the weak point is. This is the section most people do not expect. The profile a resident coyote builds is not just about you. It is about your household. If multiple people in your home regularly interact with the space the coyote uses, the animal builds separate profiles on each of them and integrates those profiles into a single household threat model. The person who hazes consistently gets classified as high consequence. The person who never goes outside is a low information unknown. The person who feeds the dog in the backyard every morning at the same time is a predictable neutral. The child who runs toward the fence is an erratic variable. The coyote does not analyze these profiles consciously in the way we would understand analysis. But its behavioral responses reflect the integrated model with a precision that, when researchers first began systematically documenting it, they described as surprising. GPS tracking data from multiple suburban study sites showed individual coyotes adjusting their routing and timing based on which member of a household was present in the yard, not just whether anyone was there. The animal had learned to distinguish between the high-consequence person and the low-consequence one, and it used that distinction. If you are the one in your household who hazes and your partner is the one who ignores the coyote entirely, the file knows. It knows which one of you means something and which one does not. And it plans around that difference every single time it moves through the space you all share. Number 5, what it means that you are already in the database. Here is the thing that most people need a moment with when they first understand it. You did not opt into this. There was no encounter where the coyote introduced itself, no moment where a relationship was formally established. You simply appeared in a space it already knew, and it did what it does with everything in its environment. It observed, it recorded, it classified, it filed. And the file it built on you has been in use ever since. Every time you have stepped outside and the coyote was somewhere in the landscape, you updated your own profile without knowing you were doing it. Every passive retreat added to the passive retreat column. Every time you looked away, that went into the file. Every morning you came outside at the same hour, that refined the schedule entry. You have been a known quantity in a system you did not know existed. The asymmetry of that is worth sitting with. You think of your yard as your space. The coyote that has been filing information about you for months experiences your yard as part of a territory it manages with a level of individual-specific intelligence that most suburban residents have never been told about. You are not anonymous in that territory. You are documented. The question that matters now is not what the file says about you. It is what you are going to add to it starting from the next encounter. Because that encounter is already coming. The coyote already knows approximately when. Tell me in the comments, has anything in this video made you rethink a specific encounter you've had, a moment that reads differently now? I want to hear about it. I read every one.